So about anime streaming platforms. Anime has come a pretty long way. Only a few years ago, you could only watch it in a handful of places. And even further back before I watched it, like more than a decade ago, it was really hard to access animes at all, since there were no streaming platforms to go on. But nowadays, you can find anime pretty much anywhere, from the purely anime platforms, like Crunchyroll or Funimation, to others you really don't expect, like Netflix for example. Netflix has only really just recently got a decent anime catalog. Ever since 7 Deadly Sins started to pop off, they realized how much revenue potential anime has, so they started to focus on it a lot more. Now they're starting to be more involved, buying the rights to big names like JoJo. For a majority of its existence, it was pretty much neglected. There really were no Netflix original animes at all, or at least not any that were actually watchable. All you could find before was a small handful of shows you could watch. I don't really use Netflix at all for anime. It's still not established enough that people come to it for anime specifically. I only go to Netflix when a series I want to watch is a Netflix original. Animes I do remember watching though on Netflix are Blue Exorcist and Soul Eater. I honestly don't think I would have gotten to them if I didn't use Netflix at the time. I don't even remember for what reason it was, but I was only using Netflix for a small period of time. So I took a look at what Netflix had to offer, which really wasn't much, and ended up watching them. For some reason, most of the shows people might be interested in, because more than likely, if you watch any anime on Netflix without a clear intent in what you want to watch, you're probably a pretty new anime fan, so like Naruto and Bleach for example. But when you go on Netflix, they end up not giving you the entire show. A lot of shows for some reason aren't completed on Netflix. They stop at really random moments in the series. For Naruto, I think they haven't updated it in years. Maybe they did recently. I haven't checked it in a minute, but they're really slow on keeping their animes up to date. It's a good place to start, but you'll probably want to move on from it pretty quickly. Crunchyroll is a whole lot better, but I still wouldn't really use it. Among other streaming platforms, Crunchyroll is that guy you go to watch anime. They have mostly all the relevant series on their site and keep it updated on a weekly basis. Only really a few issues in the time that I used it. One being that they also have the Netflix issue of not giving you everything on a certain series. The scale is way smaller than Netflix, but for some reason the animes I got on there, they don't give you the full thing. Hajime no Ippo is the anime I ended up having that realization with. If you haven't seen any of my Hajime no Ippo videos, I brought it up a few times there, but the way I watched the series for the first time was a little bit weird. On Crunchyroll, they have Hajime no Ippo, which is great and everything, having that genre variety. The only problem is that they only have the last season of the show, so I watched it not knowing that I was watching it in the wrong order. I didn't realize it until I was talking about it with a friend, when he started bringing up shit that I never heard about, like Ippo fighting Sendo, so I had to rewatch it from the very beginning. I mean, partly my fault for not researching it, but they really made it look like it was just an anime with one season. All platforms have some sort of shortcomings one way or another, which is why I opted for the best method for watching shows: pirating. Some people are probably gonna talk shit, saying that I'm killing the anime market or something, by not paying for a membership on a streaming platform. Honestly, I don't really care if I'm being honest. I'm pretty sure it has no impact on the anime studio's revenue at all. The memberships are to keep the streaming platforms running. They just need the money to get licensing, and all that other technical stuff to put anime on your screen. The studios themselves that make the animes are chilling. If they do get a portion of that money, it's probably a pretty small percentage. And again, I don't really care. I'm not gonna mention any of the sites though if you don't know any. You can research that on your own. I'm just gonna gatekeep it, cause I don't want any of my sites taken down. But pirating is definitely the way to go for anime. I get to watch everything in one area, with no membership, on the proper scheduling, if it's still a weekly series. I mean, once in a while, you'll get those suggestive ads. At first I used to try and maneuver around them, to try and not get a virus on my PC, but it's really not that big of an issue. You get used to it in no time. It's like watching sub. At some point, it just becomes a natural flow to read the words as the characters talk. It's a little bit inconvenient, but once you get to the episode you're good, unless you try to pause the episode. But besides that, you're gonna be set. Nowadays some websites don't even go crazy with the ads anymore, but I'm not gonna name drop them. If you find a good website, one thing you should learn is to gatekeep it. Even among my friends, I hesitate to give them the anime sauce, because if they start telling other people about it and it gets too much attention, it has a higher chance of getting booted offline or something, so just keep them to yourselves and you'll be good on anime. That's more or less all I had to say about anime streaming platforms. If you enjoyed, check out my other video where I talk about animes that died after the hype, or anything on the channel that piques your interest. You don't gotta gatekeep it though. Share it with your friends. But yeah, that's all. Peace.